Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm your online learning coordinator for this subject. Okay, I'm Professor Ismael Rico, and I am the one who will conduct your virtual class today. Since the final term, I'm going to discuss today the week 16 of your week 16 of your the topic in the week 16 in your LMS in creativity, innovation, and new product development. So the topic is the product life cycle. This topic, it should be is a part of the creativity, innovation, and new product development, so we can know or determine what particular development or product development that the companies must do based on the product life cycle. Because product life cycle are the stages of the existence of the product and how to improve, to innovate, and maintain the satisfaction of the markets or the market segments, or shall we say the target markets. So what will be our learning objectives? So we have to define what is a product life cycle, to identify the stages of the product life cycle, and also to explain the Boston Matrix. Boston Matrix is an additional topic for the product life cycle because it is one of the matrix or analysis for strategic marketing. But we have to discuss it so we can put or analyze the product life cycle in the Boston Matrix. Okay. So how do we define the product life cycle? So the product life cycle defines those are the stages of the products, or the stages of the existence of the products from the development up to the declining stage or the withdrawal of the product from the market. What do you mean withdrawal? If the market is not feasible and marketable anymore, it should be phased out or should be out of the existence in the marketplace. So the product life cycle is very important. It's very important to consider, and the marketers are also important to the marketers, so they can know or to identify the strategies that they made for a particular product, for the improvements, and to maintain the product existence. Not only to maintain the existence, even excuse me, even the marketability and the feasibility of the product. Marketability, it talks about the ability of the product that the market can accept and purchase and consume the product. The feasibility, the ability of the product to earn profit or to generate cash flow or profit to the business. So part of the product life cycle is the product portfolio. So product portfolio talks about the range of products that the company does have their developments to their products, the products that are available anytime. So when you talk about range of products, it talks about the product length and product width. That's a product portfolio. Let's say Unilever as an example. So what are the range of products of Unilever? So we must consider the product width first. The width, what are the products that the Unilever offered? So that's the range of products. That's the range of products. Because we talk about range of products, we have the product length and product width. Example of the product width in Unilever products, they can offer shampoo. That's one. They can offer detergents. That's the second one. They offered dishwashing liquid, or for the dishwashing or that's a third one. And even toothpaste, that's a fourth one. That's a product width. Does the Unilever have food, seasoning or condiments, or shall we say seasoning? That's a 5. So that's the product width. That's the product portfolio. That's a part of the product width. What's the product length? The product length is the brands that imparted to the categories. Let's say in Unilever, we have detergent. That's a product. What is the product length of detergent? So detergent, they have the surf. If I'm not mistaken, they have the surf. And even, what do you call this? Part of Unilever. That's surf. That's one, the product length. Another, in dishwashing. Does Unilever have dishwashing? I guess not. Okay, there's no, Joy is a Procter & Gamble. Toothpaste, the product length, we have Close Up, excuse me. And, excuse me, and the shampoo, what's the product length for shampoo? They have the Vaseline, they have the Clear, So we have the two product length. So those product weight and product length are part of the product portfolio. Talks about the range of products that the company offer the product that is available to their markets. And product portfolio, it should be managed by the marketers or the company, and it is important in order to generate and to circulate the cash flow. So product life cycle defines, since we define the product life cycle, it talks about the stages of the existence of the product, from the development up to the withdrawal of product. But don't you know, in the product life cycle that they have different stages? And the product life cycle, it determines the revenue earned based on the stages. The product life cycle also contributes what particular plan or strategic marketing planning that the company must do in order to improve the features of the product and to maintain the satisfaction of their respective markets. And the product life cycle, it helps the firm to identify the product improvements. Improvements by means of redesigning, reinvigorating, or repackaging of the features of the product, or re-engineering, or it can be withdraw or should be phased out of the existence. The product life cycle also help the new product development planning, especially if there's a new product that can be offered in the market. The product life cycle must also help to do a plan for the development of the product. And it may help, the product life cycle, it may help to forecast the sales and the profits and the ability of the product to earn, to gain sales from the company and to increase the demand of the product to the markets. So what are the stages of product life cycle? So they have the 6 stages. First one is the development stage, okay? The development stage, it talks about the product development stages. As you can see, it talks about idea screening, our initial ideas. When we create some ideas, there are a lot of ideas that the marketing people or the business people have think or generate, but not all ideas can be feasible and marketable in the latter. That's why we have to screen the ideas, and that's part of the development stage. And then after you screen the ideas, they have to conceptualize that idea into a prototype or a standard product, that this will be the prototype to be followed and is subject for testing and trials, or the phases of testing, in order to make the product perfect, or to make the product into perfection. And then they conduct the marketing research as part of the stages of the product, okay? Product of the stages, and then analysis, and then the development stage, and then they have to test this new product to the market. They will conduct a product testing to evaluate the product if it is acceptable in the marketplace or in the market. And it is the time to launch and to introduce this kind of product to the market. And one of the examples of the products in the development stages are here. I just only give examples. MS-DOS. What do you mean MS-DOS? In the computer, in technology, MS-DOS is a Microsoft disk operating system. And this kind of operation system, the DOS or the MS-DOS, it was trend It was started in the 80s because in the 80s, that was the time of the boom of computers. But there is no such Windows yet because Windows was introduced and developed in the 90s. That's why Bill Gates became the richest man in the world in the 90s and even now. Because from the Microsoft, even in the Microsoft, this operating system, they convert it, develop this product into Windows. Why? It's part of development stages. Although the MS-DOS is existing in the market, but the development, the improvement of the product is continuous in order to maintain the customer or what the market needs. They have to develop, and this operating system has been converted into Windows as part of the operating system in the computer. And Windows is not only an operating system, right? It's also we have also the iOS by the Apple, or the late sorry. Anyway, and what the app Steve Jobs rather in the Apple iPhone. Okay, that's a part of the iOS rather. That's why Steve Jobs and even Bill Gates are competitors when it comes to iOS. Okay, and then we have the iPhone or the smart. They convert into smartphones. Remember, Apple introduced iPhone. Oh, they divert the product, the Apple products from the iPad, from the iPhone, and to development of the smartphones. Robotics is also the part of the development stage because we are in the millennial age or digital age. Robotics has been developed in the 80s or in the late 70s, but right now it's still on development stages in order to perfect the robotics using of machines with the artificial intelligence to command in order to use into the workplace or any consumptions. And even the data file storage is also a part of the development stages. If you remember in the 80s, the data file storage in the computer, they used the mini floppy disk. And this mini floppy disk is very sensitive and it really deteriorates. They convert it into micro floppy in the 90s, and it's part of the development stages. From the mini floppy to micro floppy, and then to the compact disk or the CD, from CD to USB, and from USB to cloud storage or the online cloud storage such as the Google Drive and the Mega, and even the iCloud in the iOS. So those are the examples of the development stages of the product. Okay, so as well, I already mentioned this. The development stages are the product development stages, which is the part of the previous, these stages of the new product development had been in your LMS in the prelim and midterm, even in pre-finals rather. So after the development stages, of course, the product should be introduced in the marketplace, and that is the introduction and launch stage. This is the stage where the product has now been perfected and developed, and after they test the product, it's time to promote and to introduce by means of launching or commercialization to the marketplace. An introduction stage of the product, there is an extensive advertising and promotion campaigns to create awareness to the markets about the features of the product and reminding them that this product is existing, and convince the markets to try and use this product. Because in this stage, the introduction stage, the markets are very curious about the new products. Yes, it's a new product. They won't patronize it yet. They will try the product based on curiosity and they should try it. And once they're satisfied, that was the time they're going to a repeat purchase and preferred to other markets by word of mouth. But in the introduction stage, the product must monitor the initial sales if it is feasible. And to maximize the publicity or the extensive promotion or publicity about the product, so the markets are aware and known about the product. In the introduction stage, there's also a high cost rather, a very expensive one, and even at the lowest sales. Of course, in the new products, introductory, the sales must not really, it's visible. It can be generating profit, but the sale is not really high at all, because as I've said, when the product is in the market, if the product is new in the marketplace, this is the period of the market of curiosity, and they tried the product first, because no markets patronize new product for us if they don't use and try to consume. And there's, in the introduction stage, there is a length of time that the market should accept the product. So once the market has been introduced, the next stage is the growth stage. This is the period of the product where the market accepted the product after they purchased and tried and satisfied. So in the growth stage, the market increase awareness. The sale of the particular product will rise or increase, as well as the revenue. The cost must be made, or the cost must be minimized because of the profit maximization. And in the growth stage, they should monitor the market, and also we should also know the reaction of the competitor about the acceptance of this product in the marketplace. There's the growth stage. The third one is the maturity stage. Excuse me. So on the stage of the product, this is the stage when the product is in the growth stage, it reaches the sales peak, or they reach the peak of sales rather. And the cost of the product will begin to decline. The ratio of the revenue will be increased. Even the market share may be high in the maturity stage, and the competition would be greater in the maturity. Why? Because if the market experience boredom to the product and there's no any improvements or developments, they will divert to the competition, or divert to the competitor product. And this competition will be greater for the competitors of the product. If they don't see new products, they tend to transfer to the competitor. And the elasticity, we consider also the price elasticity of the demand in the maturity stage, whether to increase and decrease. Because economically speaking, if the price of the commodity increase, the quantity demanded will decrease. Or if the price is decreasing, then the quantity demanded is increasing, economically speaking. And in the maturity stage, the monitor should be the market must be monitored in order to see the changes or the new strategies or amendments we made on the development, made in the development of products, and the move of the competitor. Example, in the maturity stage, okay, the fast food chain in the Philippines, McDo and Jollibee, both of the fast food chain have reached their maturity stage. That's why both two competitors know their markets are, the diversion of the markets from each other. That's why the strategy in the maturity stage, they continue to develop their products in order to maintain their customers. In what way? Both Jollibee and McDo have do that kind of strategy. Both of the two fast food chain competitors, they also do offering short-term products or seasonal products, in order, because they feel if the sale reaches its peak and the sale becomes decline in the maturity stage, they tend to offer seasonal products. So in order to maintain the satisfaction of market, because if they don't do that, the customer of Jollibee, the market of Jollibee will be transferred to McDo, and the market of McDo will be transferred to Jollibee, or vice versa. And once the markets are boredom about the product, they go back to the major product of both fast food chains. That's an example of a strategy that made by two, because not only the two major competitor fast food chains, even the other in other products that the competition must do, they know that kind of strategy in the maturity stage, when the product is in the maturity stage. And the next one is the saturation stage. This stage, when the product are saturated the markets, and especially if there is a new entrance, that the market will be flooded. What do you mean by that? If in the Michael Porter's environmental forces, or in the Michael Porter's competitive forces, the saturation stage wherein your product is known in the market. Your product has been aware by the market, and the product was used and consumed by your market or by the market. Okay? Saturation stage is where if there is a new competitor that enters in the major competition, that was the time that that new product or the new entry of the product can ship to that new product. That new product, when the new product has a capability to enter in the competition, the markets of the existing products will be transferred to them. As an example of the saturation stage in the telecommunication, the two major competition, the Pangilinan and Ayala, Globe and PLDT, or Smart and Globe rather. When Sun Digitel introduces way back 2002, if you can see, what's the saturation stage there? The Globe and Smart in the 90s are the major competitors of telecommunication when it comes to mobile. But when in year 2005, when Sun was introduced by the Digitel, that is the two major telecom competitors underestimate that Sun communication. Why is it that Sun enters the competition of the two major competitor in the saturation stage? Meaning, in the telecommunication, it talks about subscribers of the Smart and Globe. It talks about the number of subscribers. But when Sun introduced the unlimited call and text that time in its introduction stage, it is easily for the Sun Telecommunication to be on the growth stage because it easily patronized by the markets. Because when Sun introduced the call and text unlimited at the lower rates, the subscribers of Globe and Smart are diverting to Sun, or they ship to Sun. But that's a saturation stage. Because both Globe and Smart have reached their maturity or the peak of sale. So what the Smart and Globe do, because they think these two competitors think that Sun is only a small business. That's why they offer the Globe offers TM and the Smart offers talk and text in order to compete with the Sun. But Sun has reached the major competition. They defeat the talk and text and Globe, so that's why Sun enters the major competition. And the competition is in the telecommunication is 3 in that time. But to end up, because don't you know, in the product, in the competition, too much competition is not healthy in the marketplace, because if there is a too much competition, the market share or the number of customers who purchase the product will be spread out. And it's not good for the business, because when it comes to income and profit, they can't get the profit that they want, because the people have different variety to choose. Okay, that's why to end up the competition with Sun, Smart Communication acquires the Sun Telecommunication in order to eliminate the competition comes to telco. That's why Sun is now not a competitor anymore of Smart or Globe, because Sun Telecommunication is part of Smart Communications. Okay? And to the saturated stage, part of it is to repackaging the format, and that's what happened to Sun. Because they enter the new entrant and they saturate the market, and even the saturated market of Smart and Sun are transferred to it. And the last stage is the withdrawal or the declining stage. This is the stage when the product is no longer feasible and marketable anymore. But what are the strategies that the market, in order to survive, to save the product into the declining or withdrawal stage? Okay, they have to change the passion, the trend. Even the technology should be trend. Of course, they have to repackage all of the product in order to survive that product into the what they call this, into the declining stage. But if the product has no capacity or not capable to compete anymore or to be existing anymore because there's no such any marketability or feasibility anymore, it's the company to decide to withdraw or to phase out that product. Okay, so those are the stages of the product life cycle. As you can see in the graph, this will be the matrix of the stages of the product life cycle. As you can see, the sales in the y-axis and the time in the x-axis. As you can see, the line graph in the development stage. Okay, and from the introduction, the line is increasing to the growth, at reaching and then to the maturity, that reaching the sales growth or the peak, and the saturation, of course, that slow down because there's no such any improvement. Oh, there's no such any improvement. They have to improve, but the company are very confident that there's no such any competitor that can be entered in the competition. And if the product has no longer any more feasible and marketable, that was the time later on that the product should be declined or phased out. Okay, let's compare the product life cycle here when it comes to the strategies. And as I have said, the product life cycle also will help to develop a strategy and plans in order to maintain the existence of the product and to maintain the satisfaction of the markets. So as you can see this is the graph of the product life cycle from development to what they call this withdrawal. If there is a strategy which the company must do in the product, from the maturity, it can go back to the growth stage anymore, then maturity and growth and maturity. What do you mean by this? Growth and maturity, growth and maturity. What do you mean by that? If the marketing people or the product specialist is very good in formulating strategies or plans for the improvement of the product, that will be the product must be accepted and it should be existing in the marketplace. So meaning the product is available and capable to reach customers and to be competitive as well. Because if the strategies or plans are not good, excuse me, for the product, it will go down to the saturated until it will withdraw or declining. So look at this. When it comes to the sales and profits, in the profit stage of the product life cycle, this should be, okay? But in the development stages, if there is a losses, started here, in the y-axis, the negative, there should be a break-even point in order to earn profit if the product suffers from losses. And what do you mean by this? In the development stages, maybe you develop the product, but it's not but if you launch immediately without any perfection or trials in order to make the product perfect, and this is a high risk that mass marketing can do. Because in order to make a profit, or it takes a long time for the growth and the development growth and maturity stages that will reach the break-even point. So that will be the product life cycle. Excuse me. Okay. So the next one is, this will be additional topic, and part of the PowerPoint of your LMS is the Boston Matrix. So what is the Boston Matrix? So Boston Matrix is an analysis used by the Boston Consulting Group or analysis in order to make a business strategy, and also used in the marketing consultancy in 1968. And Boston Matrix will help also to analyze the product life cycle stages in order to identify what particular strategy must do by the marketing people. Okay. So the Boston Matrix, the Boston Matrix has its illustration, and the Boston Matrix has its 4 categories. As you can see in the matrix, on the y-axis there is a market growth, In the x-axis is the market share. The market growth, it talks about the ability of the product that can be accepted by the market, while the market share, it talks about the number of markets who patronize the product in the competition. Okay? So if the market growth is high and the market share is low, that category is a problem children or a problem child. If the market growth is low and the market share is low, there is a dog category. But if the market growth is high and the market share is high, that means that the category is a star. And if the market share is high but the market growth is low, that will be the cash cow. So I'm going to discuss those categories of the Boston Matrix. So the stars, as I've said, it is the high market share and high market growth. So what does it mean? It means that the product has potential for the high revenue growth. So the star, it can be in the growth and maturity stage. Okay, that will be part of it. While the cash cow, that should be the high market share but the low growth markets. So it can be part of the maturity stage and saturation stage of the product life cycle. And there is a low cost support. But the product can be generating a cash, of course, as a part of the high market share or the number of markets that patronize the product. But when it comes to the market growth or the revenue of the market, they cannot meet their the target profit of the business. Meaning they're only generating cash, but they don't. But there's no the profit is not enough. Okay, so the dog category, the products in the low market, and this is the part that in the product life cycle, it talks about the declining stage. With the dog category has the low market growth and low market share, and there's an extensive development in order to survive the product, because in the dog, it can be associated with the negative cash flow, especially in the declining stage. It may require large sums of money to support in order to survive the product and to maintain its existence and to recover from those losses. And the problem child, those are the products with low market share but in the high growth market. Is there a problem with it? Yes, because we need money to spend to develop. You have a market share, yes. You have the biggest market. You have the low market share rather. You have low customers or market that patronize the product, but there is a high growth market. We say high growth, the profit. But why is it there's a problem child? You want to develop, but your money is not enough for some developments for the product. Problem child also may produce a negative cash flow, and the product must have potential in the future, because the reason in the problem child, there is the product has its potential, but the problem is they can't implement. We know the potential, but we cannot develop the product due to financial problems or issues of the business. Okay, so what are the implications of Boston Matrix? So the implication of it is from the dogs. Is it worth to preserve the products, especially if we are in the declining stage? If we go to if we want to survive the product, how much would be cost? Those are the implications. Are we going to continue the product or are we going to withdraw the product? Or how much the cost of the product if we remove it from the market? So from the problem children or the problem child, the implications, we must consider the chances of the product securing hold in the market. That's a question. Is there a possibility for the product to recover from those losses or to improve the product? What are the ways and means to generate more profit for the development of the product? And how much will be the cost to promote a product into a stronger position? And does a product worth it or it has value? Stars. Of course, in the start, the implication, the product has a huge potential. It may have but the development is very expensive. And in the stars, when we promote the product, it's very valuable to spend money in the advertising in order to create or to promote the product in order to get aware by the market. And then if the market is in the growth stage, you can we call this, you can offset those expenses and earn more profit. And stars can also consider the extent of their product life cycle when it comes to decision making. And for the cash cow, of course, with the implication, the promotion is cheap. They can generate large amount of cash, but you must consider, are you going to use that cash for the research and development? The cost of developing, promoting are very large or very expensive, and we need to monitor the performance of the business in the long term or short term. And the cash cow implications of the cash cow, does the cash cow will be part of the maturity stage of the product life cycle? So that will be our topic for today. Okay, topic for today. That is the Boston, the product life cycle and the Boston Matrix.